fine. People are joining online already. Right?
1 more minute, okay.
Rabbi Y Losh does Kiddush every night with Bakum, next door actually, right after Memphis. So besides that, he's does Kiddush Hachodesh.
היום לא. בעצם התחלנו, היום התחלנו בעצם.
So usually there's a sharing night actually at 10 o'clock. Downstairs right after. So, but tomorrow, tonight he's here with us, tomorrow, and Thursday he's there. Tonight at 9:15, and I have also Rabbi YITZCHOK. He's from Florida, and he's very well known as well. He's going to give also a different perspective and additional information as well about this case. Yeah, and as well, it's available online, whatever is. You miss that here, and it's yesterday of Kruger, it's available online.
Okay, we're going to start?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know how much you remember from yesterday. This is Galgal Hayomi, and he goes every day from Mizrach to Ma'ariv. Mizrach on the other side goes Mizrach a whole circle, and it takes all the Galgalim which are in him, and one of them is the moon, one of them is the sun. And we said also that the Moilad means that the moon is under the sun, the meat, kibbutz, and the sun goes 1 degree a day, and the moon goes 13 degrees about a day. And when you calculate, when we calculate how fast the moon goes, how much the moon goes a day, and how much the sun goes a day, when you calculate, so it will come out that every 29 and half, and Tashsak Halokim, which is 44, about 40, a little bit over 44 minutes, the moon will be under the sun every 29 and a half days. Calculation, again, we know how fast the moon goes, we know how fast the sun goes. So according to that calculation, so every 29 and a half days. Now, the whole Rambam, what's his tachlis? What's his bottom line? What he wants to teach you? Every Chodesh, you should be able to make a cheshbon every 29. How does it work? Let's say Sunday is Rosh Chodesh, right? Rosh Chodesh, what means Rosh Chodesh? The beginning of the month, Aleph b'Chodesh. Now, when is the earliest the next Chodesh, the Rosh Chodesh can be? 29 days. Lamed could be the earliest Rosh Chodesh, right? 29 Chodesh Choser, so 29 days, and Lamed will be already Aleph for next Chodesh. That was when they made up their ears that they didn't have to make. Today we have some Chadoshim 2 days, some Chadoshim wondrous Chodesh. Then when they made up their ears, they didn't have to go to it because whenever the Chodesh was, that's what came out. So what did they have in mind? So the Rambam will teach us that they used to, all these calculations is to give you the ability to calculate every 29th, the end of 29, that was like 6 o'clock, 29, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, where is the moon and where is the sun, and see if at that time you can see the new moon. Okay? So that's the whole, all the prokim are, that's the bottom line where he wants to get to. So let's see over here. The black line, you see the black line on the globe? That means for people who, everybody lives on top. Nobody lives over here, right? I live over here. I'm not living with my feet up. So always we are talking about the person who lives on top of the globe. Because wherever you are, you're on the top. So now, where will be his shkia? In other words, the sun is going, the sun is coming here, this Ma'ariv, this at the Ma'ariv. So the sun is going down, right? The sun is going, when it comes to the black line, right? So for our purposes, no more, you can't see him on the sun, that's the shkia of the sun. Actually, it doesn't work like this because the earth is flat. So you don't see, you can't see what's over the curve. You see flat, right? But for our purposes, I'm just saying it doesn't have to do with here, but for our purposes, it doesn't, it's almost like you see from here because the sun is so far away that every degree of the sun is about 1.5 million miles. Now, how much is the whole globe? 8,000 miles. So it doesn't make a difference if you look from here or you look from here, it's all the same. I don't know. Okay. So when you come to the black line, so that's the shkia.
How much could each person see at the right?
Oh, so each person can see from the sky 90 degrees, right? When you go outside, when it's no by the water, let's say, by the ocean, when there is no buildings, no mountains, so you can see from the sky, from your head to each side, you can see 90 degrees. Now from here, you can see till here, until here, okay? So when the sun goes down, 90 degrees from the top of your head, yeah, goes down, comes over here, goes the shkia. Now, the moon, here was the Meilad, right? So the Meilad, the moon was under the sun. So what happened that day by the shkia? They both went down together under the shkia. No, simple. Because he took them down. The Galgal Yomi, which are passengers in that train, he took them down together, to the shkia. So that day, we couldn't see, if you remember, we couldn't see the moon because the light was only on top of them, okay? And now the boat went down. What happens a day after the Meilad? So the moon, how much went away from the sun? How much the moon went away from the sun? 12. The moon goes 13, but away from the sun it was 12 because the sun also goes 1 mile. So they started together. So he went 1, he went 13, so it's 12 miles away from it. So now the next day, the sun will be here, the moon will be here, right? Now, what happens by the shkia now? By the shkia, the sun will go down, and the moon is still in the sky, still visible to us. Now, the Rambam tells us later that it has to be over 9 degrees between the moon and the sun. By the shkia, we should be able to see the moon. Because when the moon, we know when the sun goes down, right? When the sun goes down, so it doesn't become dark in 1 second. It takes time, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. The more time goes by, the darker it gets. And then another thing, the more the moon is away from the sun, so we like we showed in the picture, the more light it has. The moon of the banana is a wider strip, in other words, more light. So it's like when you go after the shkia, you look in the sky, so there is a whole bunch of stars, right? So which stars are you going to see first? The big ones. And then you see the little ones. In other words, the bigger the moon is, the easier it is to see the moon. Okay, so 2 things. First of all, the further away the moon from the sun, so the moon will be bigger. And also, the further away, so that it'll have more time to be on top of the horizon to get dark enough you should be able to see it. Under 9, the Rambam said you can see. And over 9, you have to make all kinds of calculations if you can still see it. But before 9, you can't. So now we see that we have to know exactly, the best is to know exactly how far the moon is from the sun. Because according to that, we will have to make all kinds of calculations. You will be able to see the moon. Okay? So
Okay, wait, I apologize. But I missed the thing with the 9 degrees. Can you just repeat that?
and I'm just saying that when it's 9 degrees, the sun goes down, right? So if the sun goes down, but the Melet, they both go down together. Because the Melet means the moon is under the sun. Huh? Yeah, the black line is the...
See the black line on the globe?
That's the horizon. Okay?
When the sun reaches that black level, that's what the actually is.
So,
On Hachodesh,
by the Melet, yeah, but...
both go down together.
Good. Now, a day after the Melet, so the moon will go away from the sun how many degrees?
Because the sun goes 1. It's
12 degrees.
The sun is there at 12.
Okay. So now the moon will be 12 degrees away from the sun. So the sun goes down, and the moon will still be 12 degrees on top of the horizon, still in the sky. So we'll be able to see it sometimes. Al Kopman, so that's where I get to the 9. The Rambam said if it's going to be only 9 or less, so no way you can see the new moon. It's too close, so too much light still after the Shkia, and the moon is also very small because it's very close to the sun. So it'll be a very little light, so you won't be able to see it. So the whole calculations is, again, to determine by the Shkia, by Choftes, in the afternoon, Rambam says 20 minutes after the Shkia, you should, so in all the calculations you make to that time to see where exactly is the moon and the sun now, to see how far they are from each other, so then they'll be able to calculate if you can see it or not. So now, there is a lot of problems over here, because we said that the moon goes whatever 13, the sun goes to 59, and those. So what's the problem? You just make a calculation 1, 2, 3, or how, and find out. So Rambam says big problems. You can't just make regular calculations over here. And I'm just going to say by words now, because let's say it takes somebody from my house from Montgomery to 770, it takes me, let's say, 5 minutes to walk, right? So the question is if I can divide it into blocks, each block will be a minute. But you can always calculate. Maybe one side is uphill, the second side is downhill. So when it comes to downhill, I'm going to go faster, because uphill, and suppose one of the blocks is fixing the sidewalk, or broken sidewalk. So the same thing. We have a lot of problems with the moon and the sun that they're not going every day the same thing. Huh?
They have traffic also?
Traffic. So we're going to start now with the sun. No, no, one is good. Okay, tape. Yeah, I want to put the tape. Wait, let me take this away. Take it away. Yeah. Okay. Wait, let me take a piece of tape over here. Oh.
The right drawer with the roll of masking tape.
Oh, you have it?
There's a roll of tape in the right drawer.
Oh, okay, okay. It's good, it's good. Okay. Oh, okay. No, it's good. I think it's good. Everybody sees, right? Over here you see, I'm going to say it in my words, and then we will show the picture. There is the galgal amazolas, right? The top galgal, and then there's the globe. The globe, in other words, kadur oretz, is exactly in center of the galgal amazolas. Now and then there is the blue and the red is actually two galgalim, two spheres that belongs to the sun. The sun travels in the red one, but the blue one is also part of the system. Now, the red one, as you see over here, this is us. We live over here. Now, where is the center of the red one? Over here. So what happens? What happens? When you see an airplane, let's say, right, flies very, very high in the sky. It flies 1,000 miles an hour, right? By you, it looks like it doesn't move. It doesn't move. If it would go half of it or less, much lower, it would be boom, in a second it would pass by you. And all of a sudden it goes fast. Why? Because when we have, how many miles is this? 360. This, 360. And then it will take even smaller. This, 360. Right? In other words, we every round thing we divide in 360, but 360 degrees. But we can't say that's not the same distance. If something is 360 meters, so each degree will be a meter. If it's 360 miles, so each mile will be a degree. The sun goes every day. The sun goes every day the same distance. Shetach, the same area it covers every day. It covers like 1.5 million miles per day. Okay? Now, when you take the 1.5 million miles very, very far, so it's nothing. What's 1.5 million? There is billions of miles up there. So it doesn't look like it's going fast. When we lower that, the more you lower that 1.5 million, like I showed over here, from here to here is 180, let's say, okay, I'm holding it like this, right? Now, from here to here, how many degrees is this for my eyes? Maybe 10 degrees, whatever, 20 degrees. If I bring it over here, it becomes 180 degrees, right? It covers my whole half of the world. 180 degrees it covers me. So in other words, the same degree, the same distance, is sometimes it's 180 degrees and sometimes it's going to be much, much less. So the sun goes the same distance, but in degrees it will be different if it's very high or it's very low. Depends where the sun is traveling. So that's the problem with the sun over here also. The sun sometimes travels over here. So what's over here? We live over here. It's further away from us. When the sun travels over here, it's closer to us. So in other words, over here, the sun will supposedly go faster. And here it'll go slow. Oh, in comparison to who? We and the Galgal Amazoles are the same thing, the same degrees, because we are the center. When you are the center, when you are the center of something, it doesn't make a difference how big the degrees will stay the same. The angle, that's what I mean. If you live over here, or if you live the middle over here, so it's like the middle over here. It doesn't make a difference. Okay? Now, and it's very interesting. So we said that sometimes the sun is high, sometimes the sun is low. The high and the low are not always in the same place. In other words, they are in the same place, but they are moving. They're not always in the same place. You see the blue, what happens? The sun actually goes in the red, right? Goes every day a degree. Now the blue also moves. But the blue moves very slow. It moves 66, in 66 years, it moves 1 degree. Okay, now, what happens when the blue moves? Just a little imagination. When the blue moves, so now this point of the blue, right, is where the sun is the highest, right? I have to explain more. I mean, you see that the sun over here is the highest because the sun goes only inside that red. That's it. The sun is not going here or here, only in the red. So when the sun goes around low, average, and comes over here is the most away from the earth, the highest. When the blue moves, let's say that part of the blue will come over here. So the sun will be the furthest away from us when it comes to this point. What is over here? Over here is actually in the middle of the summer. That's in the Mazoles. It's in Sarton, okay, Tahimim in Tammuz. The sun is the furthest away from the earth in Tammuz. But when this galgal slowly, every 66 years, it goes 1 degree, will come to Tishrei, so the sun will be the furthest away from us when the sun will be in Tishrei.
It has a difference on the weather?
Huh?
It has a difference on the holidays?
Good question. Good question. In the old books, they said that people don't live in the south. In the south. Why don't they live in the south? Huh? Why is it too hot? Because what's over here? Over here is supposedly north, right? There's Sarton. Sarton is, you remember the Mazoles. The Sarton is in the north. Who is in this side? The Teves is in the south, right? The sun is, so when the sun is over here, you see, it's very close to the earth. Every year it comes down. So people thought that it's impossible to live over here in the south because the sun is going to be too close to them. It's too hot going to be. Okay? According for our purposes, so we know that there is places where the sun goes slow and where the sun goes fast. And I'll soon show you more detailed. But this is just to show you, in general, what...
Blue, under, blue over, the same thing.
The second?
What's the both blue?
The both blue are the sun has 2 galgalim, 2 spheres, which are mashpia on him. Because, like I think we mentioned it, there is 9 galgalim, right? For the 7 planets, and then the 8th one, and now, when we say seven galgalim for the 7 planets, it means each galgal has its own planet, and it doesn't. He's the only one who is carrying that planet, that Galgal. The other Galgalim which are above him or below him don't mashpia on him, right? They don't move him. The only one which are mashpia on each Galgal is the Galgal Hayomi, because he takes everybody with him. But besides the Galgal Hayomi, each Galgal has its own for themselves. But the Son has actually two Galgalim that belong to him. So they both are mashpia on him. So one is mashpia mostly the yearly move, which is like a degree a day, and the other one is mashpia. Where should be the place that when the sun will be there, you'll be the highest away from us.
So all that, gets that second God. Know where the sun is.
I think every. The Rambam says actually there is 18 big Galgalim. Yeah, 18. And we know there is 9, but the Rambam says 18 because some of the planets have more than one. I don't remember if they all have to have 2, but the sun is, let's say, 2, and the moon, we will soon get to it, has 4.
So what does the second Galgal do with the sun?
The blue one?
Second one.
The blue one is the second one.
1 degree a day.
Yeah.
And the second one is what?
I just said it affects where should be the height of the sun, in which mazel should be the height of the sun. In other words, where should be the point when the sun comes there? It should be the highest away from the world.
That's once a year. That's the only Tammuz time.
Oh, now it's Tammuz, right? So what happens when the blue moves? So this point moves over here slowly. So what will be then? Here is Tishrei. That's it. So every year you'll come over here and it'll be the eyes. Right now, every year he comes to the summer and it's the eyes. And it'll come time over here, and it'll come time over here, and it'll come time over here. So the Rambam actually tells us where, in his time, where was the place, the highest point? And today, you add whatever you add today to where we're holding now. Okay, now let me show you the same thing, but you tied me up. Okay. You push the oh, yeah, so give it a little slant maybe. Okay. No. Okay, I'll put some tape. I'll put some tape. I'll put some tape. Okay. Okay. Here you have the block from the Galgal Amazoles. We live over here. Here you have the moon, the movement of the moon, the Galgal of the moon, and here is the sun. So you see the moon, I made a picture, the way the picture looks over here. So we are in the middle of the Galgal of the moon, and we are in the middle of the Galgal Amazoles, but we are not in the middle of the Galgal HaShemesh. Okay? So now look what's happening. Here is a moilad, right? The moon, the sun, some moilad. Let's say we're going to go to a big contrast. We're going to calculate in 3 months from now. In 3 months from now, we're going to go exactly 3 months from now. So what should we have? A moilad again, right? 3 months from now, should have a moilad. So what we're going to calculate, the sun goes in 3 months, let's say 90 degrees, and the moon goes also in 3 months with the extra and everything, also 90 degrees, should be 90 degrees. So both in 90 degrees, we'll have a moilad. So now let's see on the picture what happens. The sun started from here, high, and we said when she's high, she's going slow. So she finishes the 90 degrees over here. The moon started from here, the same place, but she went 90 degrees, she's over here. So the moon is already below the, after the moilad. The moilad was when the moon was over here. Because that's the 90 degrees. We say 90 and 90, right? So when the moon came over here, so it was already a moilad. So why? Because the moon goes regular. The sun goes over here slow because she's high away from the earth. So we have a problem. So our calculations are not going to come out. We have to get a formula to correct that.
When you say slow,
Yeah.
is it really slow? The sun doesn't go the same rate?
So that's what I say. It goes the same distance, the same area. But in degrees, it doesn't go the same area. It doesn't go in the same degrees. We are looking now, you're looking from here, right? From the earth. You see the sun. Now, when what called by you, when you live over here, from here, if you want to go 90 degrees, where should you go? From here to here. That should be by your 90 degrees, right? Because let's say over here, 90 degrees from the big Al, from the Galgal Amazonas. So you stay over here, from here to here is 90 degrees, right? From the moon, the same thing, 90 degrees over here. Where is 90 degrees of the sun? Right. These 90 degrees will come over here. He's going every day the same degree. But because he's higher, first of all, he started from further away someplace. So when he comes over here, he finished the 90 degrees. Let's see the opposite from Tishrei, right? From the lowest part of the sun. Right. So let's say over here, there's a moilad over here, right? The moon was over here, the sun over here. Now the sun over here is closer to the earth, so he goes faster. So he goes 90 degrees. He goes 90 degrees till here, right? From here to here, and the moon will be 90 degrees over here. So what happened now? Now the sun goes so fast that the moon went 90 degrees and there is no moilad. Because the moon still has to catch up this part to make a moilad. Because here the sun goes faster. So again, when you say faster, that means, let's say over here, right over in top, right? So you can see over here.
It's the same distance. The amount of miles is going.
Okay. Look, this is 30 degrees, right? From here to here at 30 degrees, right? 30, 30, and 30. So it's 90 together. That's in Kava Mazoles. Now, this is Sartan, Model Sartan, right? So we have 90 degrees over here. 90 degrees, no, 30 degrees. We have 30 degrees over here. when we calculate the moon and the sun, they don't have blocks, streets, names. So we calculate where are they in the Galgal Amazoles. Because that's our stationary. Others, they say, I look from here, I look at the moon, okay, it hit this star. So that means it was this, under this star. So this is all Mazel Sartan, right? And 30 degrees. Now the sun and the moon. The sun will go 30 degrees, right? So 30 degrees, so in my head, it's already the end of Sartan. In the end of this month, on this end of this, is it in the end? If you make a line, it didn't get to that, it didn't get. For me, looking, not for me, I'm sorry. From looking for me from here, over here, so the sun is still not catching up. Even though it went 30 days, it went 30 degrees. It still didn't catch up to where I would think it is.
And it went the same 45 billion miles.
Right, it went the same area, but because it went so high, in degrees, it doesn't come out. I want you to understand. I don't see the big shape.
But
In degrees, positioned in comparison to the Galgal Yomi, it's not where it. And again, why? Because it's very far, and because it goes, it does go every day 1 degree, right? It goes 1 degree, and it goes area the same. But this degree, the degree can be over here because there is average away from the Earth. But over here, it's going to be more than a degree. It goes.
So you're saying basically the cycle of the sun is not exactly
Centered.
The Earth is not centered.
Right. It's not the center of the Earth, and it's not the center of the Galgal Amazonas, of the 9 Galgal.
Why couldn't they just make it centered?
So what would I do? I would never job. Okay, so.
By the way, it's not a proportion because the comma is in the 4th Galgal.
Yeah.
And this is the 9th Galgal.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why I think they are getting confused because I think it's too close. It's too close. They're thinking the 30 degrees is so close to the sun. Make it 4 more lines above, maybe that'll make sense.
Which one?
No, the point is that it's not centered.
You understand the problem over there? The main thing we should understand the problem that we have with the sun. So
the problem is that the Mazolas is only going 66 degrees.
forget about it. Mazolas are stationary. Don't.
Stationary. What's all 30 degrees?
From here, that's Mazel Sartan, right? So how many degrees is Mazel Sartan?
Every month is 30 degrees.
What? 30 degrees. That's a picture. That's not a month. This is the picture of the quotes of the group of Mazel Sartan. The stationary. Huh? Yeah, but yeah, whatever you call it. Now, when something moves from this point to this point so it means it went 30 degrees, right? So you know, if it started from here and it went 30 degrees, we know exactly it's over here. So here all of a sudden we say it doesn't work like this. The sun went 30 degrees, but it didn't get to that point.
It's much higher up.
What's much higher up? No. The sun is high. Again, not the sun is high, not because it's high. It's because is because because it says one place high and one place low. If it would be everything high, it would be no problem. But because the center of the sun is over here,
It should be in a certain month based on our calculations, like the horoscope say, but it's not because it's in its own 360, and that's a hard. Okay. Our Earth is a lower 360. So, okay, I understand. Yeah, I think
du steeds nog.
yeah, close.
Niet begloos.
You have to give it over to the house.
Yeah,
The sun is sometimes higher, sometimes lower.
right.
So when it's higher, reflection to us, it changes the measurement of we think the sun should be 30 degrees from where it's left, but it won't be.
Right.
So it's not being parallel to the mazal. That's what you're trying to say.
Right, but why? The main question is why? Why is it not going to be parallel with the mazolas?
Because it's been 360.
Let's.
What's the answer? Why it's not?
Okay, so let's go take it from a different view. Look, you have over here. We live over here, right? And this is half the Galgal. This is half of the Galgal Amazonas, obviously, right? 180 degrees. Now we have the sun, which is also circles us, but the sun that's our 180 half of the sky. From here till here, how many degrees?
Oh, 180.
No, for the sun, how many degrees of the Galgal of the sun is from here to here? More than 180. So in other words, now, this 180 degrees, our 180 degrees, the sun has to cover more than 100. The sun goes every day, in a year, 365 days, right? 365 days makes a full circle. Now, how much is half a year? 180, 182. Now, this would have been if the sun has to cover exactly 180 degrees. But here we see that when the sun starts from here, this is our 180 degrees. The sun starts from here, and then it comes to its 180. Here, the 180 of the sun is from here to here. Now, the sun has to cover this piece before it goes to its circle. He has to cover this. So he has to cover more than 180 degrees. So now divide that. So you know already that it is the know that the.
How much more is it?
Huh?
How much more is it on both sides?
It's 2 days. Yeah. In other words, the summer, the from Pesach to Tishrei, when the sun is over here, it takes is 186 probably. Yeah, 186. Because it goes.
Because its position is off.
Right. And he has, in the summer, he's, like we said in the summer is much higher, right? The sun, we said, is much higher. So when the whole Galgal is higher, so when, before even, we see more than 180 degrees, let's put it this way. We see more than, even though we see a half the sky, but it's more than 180 degrees, and the sun has to cover all this. David, you can explain the difference? I don't know.
15 degrees, no?
Huh?
It's 15 from here. Here it's 15.
No, I made it a big contrast. It was 2 degrees. 2 degrees over here and 2 degrees over here. Huh? No, it has nothing to do with the days longer. A days longer, it has to do with south, north and south. Okay, so let's.
Just a question. Let's say we have showing that the sun's going on an additional path. Let's say we've been the same path. Let's just calculate something I missed. Some people you were saying before that we travel different degrees. The sun every day is a 12 degrees.
The sun goes away from the moon every
12 degrees. So how do they meet up? It wouldn't. So how does it meet up at the end of the month? How do they meet up at the end of the month again?
Why not? Wait, why not?
Every day the distance 12 degrees.
Yeah.
So the moon, if it's 360, it comes home to the sun.
How much
30 times 12.
Right, 30 times 12, 360.
So he made already few.
No, but it's not 360. It's 361 in comparison to the other. Not to Galgal Yomit. In comparison to Galgal Yomit, the moon goes every day 13 degrees.
Right, and the sun goes 1.
Right.
So that's 12.
Oh, wait. Let's take the moon goes 13 degrees a day.
Yeah.
Times 30.
Times 30 is
390.
390.
Good. 390. So in other words, it went a full circle plus 30 degrees. How much does the moon go in a month?
30.
Okay, so that's what it means.
That's a matter. And he might take a few turns, he did 1 turn.
As a matter.
They have the same after 30 days. That's if it would be on the same
Right.
tracks. Not on the same track.
So for say we have to find a common language. We have to find for both of them a common language. In other words, we have to fix the sun.
Is there definitely every 30 days the moon gets black?
No. There is not such a period like we're going to show over here. The sun doesn't go the same distance every day. So every day, every month will be different. In other words, sometimes you can have in 29 days they're going to meet for our purposes. And sometimes could be 29 and a half days. And sometimes could be right. Right. Because sometimes the moon goes west.
For sure that there's going to be a time that the moon is black. There's going to be a time that the moon is totally black.
Oh, wait. What do you mean black? Wait, are you talking about the liquid?
No.
What do you mean black?
That's black. We Earth, we can't see the moon at a certain point.
You talk about the mail, not black. Okay.
It's going to be a clear moment. Says it was black and all of a sudden
no, it's not. We can see it. We don't see the black. They're blacked every month.
See that it's born again. The
oh, so it's two different things. What we call a mailet now means when they meet.
Okay.
Not we see. They meet.
So you don't see.
No, we don't see. We don't see. To see is a different. It's like we said. There has to be at least 9 degrees later. In other words, it has to be like 20 hours later.
Okay, that's the year. That's
yeah, at least 20 hours later. Oh, but it not.
They saw the mail. They saw. They didn't see.
Yeah.
They call the mail. They saw the mail.
That's what we call it. That's what we call it today. But the Rambam doesn't say that doesn't mention such a thing. I saw the moiler. There's no such a thing. No, but we understand each other. I understand, but we stood on the moon, yeah. But so
fine. Now understand this issue.
yeah. Okay. So the Rambam tells us. So the Rambam in the Perik Gimel, he will tell us. So what do? We have the problem. So the Rambam says like this: when the sun is the highest place, right, and we say it's going slow there, so how much slow does it go? So the Rambam tells us a whole table of portions, how much we have to subtract or add in order it should be aligned with the mazolas. So he says, obviously, when the most it's high away, the most it's going slow. Once it starts to come down, so it picks up speed. Now it's going to go more regular, and over here it will go at the average for what we know it goes a degree a day. 59 and 8. Here it goes very very fast, but here it's losing the speed. Till it comes over here, it goes regular. So it's like this. When it goes from here to here, so every day it's losing, here it lost the most, and then it loses less and less and less. When it comes over here, it's still losing, but all the loss together will be 2 degrees. In other words, when the sun will come over here, from the height, it will be, instead of 90, we will call it 88. Not call it, because it will be under the 88 in Kava Mazolas. Because it went slow, so instead of going 90 from this one, it went only 88, right? Now from here, now it's getting closer, so now it's going to start to pick up speed. Very little speed over here because it's still far, not so close. And it picks up, till it comes over here, here it picks up the most. When it comes over here, it's even out. So in other words, what you lost over here, 88, you'll gain back the 2, so now you'll be 180. In other words, you'll be under 180 from the height. Now from here, from the bottom, here it starts to pick up speed. Right? It goes fast, but it goes, again, the fast is over here, and here will be less fast, but still fast, till it comes over here, and here you'll be ahead. With all the surface that you got, you'll be 2 miles ahead, 2 degrees ahead of our 180, and from here it starts to lose. When it comes to the goiva, it evens out. So it's like you see over here, when it's the goiva, so 90 from, and they're aligned. The moon and the sun are aligned. Over here, they're not going to be aligned. Here the sun is ahead, and here the sun is less. Do you think so? So, okay. So the Rambam tells us in Perikut Gimel, so when the sun goes 10 degrees from the most high that it has, so how many is 10? Okay, 10 degrees. So it lost 20 halokim. In other words, a third of a degree. So in other words, instead to call it that she went 10 degrees, it went 9 degrees with 40 halokim. That's the first.
A mile has 60 kilometers.
So that was the first 10. The second 10, right? The second 10, the Rambam says actually the same thing. It's still
Another third.
another
20?
no, 10 halok. How much is that? 10 or 20?
20, you said a third is 20.
20.
You said a third.
All right, 20. You're right. 20. And the third one, he says already 18. He's not losing 20, but the third 10, but by the third 10, he'll lose only 18. Right. In other words, so in 30 miles, he lost almost a mile, exactly. So instead of 30, he went only 29. Yeah. Now over here, the next 60, if we went from the next 60 to 90, so we said he's losing altogether too. So in the 60 degrees, he'll lose only 1 mile. Here he lost in 30 a mile, and here he'll lose, because over here it doesn't go so slow already. It goes a little bit slow. So that's why he's not losing so much. And here will be the opposite. When the sun goes from the bottom, so when he goes 10 degrees, you'll actually be 10 degrees plus 20 halokim. and the second is 20, also 20, and then he goes up, he'll be 18, whatever, until he comes over here and he has extra to.
So what is the Rambam saying?
In Yud Gimel,
Tells us what you just explained?
yeah, and he calls this like this. There is the Maslul. So, okay, you're right. Good question. I'm already lost. So the Rambam tells us like this: if you want to find out exactly where there is the Shemesh Emtzoi and Shemesh Amiti, where Mokim Amiti, Mokim Emtzoi. Mokim Emtzoi means very simple. Emtzoi means the sun was over here. It went 10 degrees. It's 10 degrees. That's it. 10 degrees. We went another 10, it's 20 degrees. We don't go into exactly where Mazoles, Os, that it goes every day on a degree, it goes till the day, it went to the degrees. I'm sorry. Amiti means how we look at it. Where is he in comparison to us or in comparison to the Mazoles? That's called Amiti. So now, how do we know, how do we calculate it? So the Rambam says very simple. I'm going to tell you where is the point in the Mazoles where when the sun comes over there, it will be the highest. Okay, so keep it in mind. And then I'll tell you where is the sun now in the red one, in the Emtzoi. And then let's start to calculate. So he tells you like this. You find out first where is the sun in its own galgal, in the Emtzoi. So that is very easy because that 1 year, 10 years, a million years, you just add to every year 59 chalokim, 8 shniyos, and you know where the sun is, right? No problem. No big calculations. Just add and add and add or go back, whatever. Once you add it, so you know already where the sun is. So now it tells you, find out now where is the goiva. The goiva. Where is the place in the Mazoles that when the sun will be there, you'll be the highest? And the Rambam gives us, in his time, it tells us in this and this date, the Goiva was in this and this place. So now, whenever you want to calculate where is it now? To your time. Because he gave you a starting point, and he gives you the how fast does it go every day, or every year, and every 10 years. So now you just calculate. So now let's say over here. If you found out, let's say that the sun is in beginning of Aryeh. Beginning of Aryeh means the beginning of Kiddush Hachodesh, Aryeh, right? So now we know the sun. The sun is over here, not over here. The sun is in Aryeh. So now you have to make a cheshbon. So where's the goiva? So where's the goiva? So you find out the goiva was in the beginning of Satan, right? Beginning of Tammuz. So he tells the Rambam says, okay, now calculate how far is the moon, the Emtzoi, from the goiva. Because that's the main thing. The main thing is we know that here it goes slow. So if it's, let's say, 30 degrees away from the goiva, right? So we know it goes slow. In the moon over here, the sun over here didn't go at regular speed. It went a little less because it's in the goiva. So how much less did it go? So the Rambam tells you exactly. The first 10, take off 20. Second 10, 20. The third, 18. So altogether, you take off 58. So if it's we said in beginning of Aryeh, right? So it's not anymore the beginning of Aryeh. It's now in the Amiti. In the Amiti, it's 2 degrees before. Not. It's 1 degree before. In other words, it's 1 degree in Tammuz yet.
Jump.
Huh?
I'll get up and jump. Yeah!
Oh, it's a boy. That's a boy. I almost fell asleep. No?
We understand. It's amazing.
So you said, so just repeat that last sentence. You calculate where the moon is.
No, forget about the moon. No, forget about the moon. I said moon? So it's not the moon. So we are not talking about the moon right now. We are talking only about the. Huh? Okay, so we have so again, let's go over again. So in order to find out where is the real where is the real sun, the amiti, in other words, where is it? Because what's the problem? Like I said before, we have the moon and the sun, and we want to know if they aligned or not aligned. And let's say they both got to the same degree. We calculated the sun is in 30 degrees of its dose, and the moon is also 30. Should be alignment, should be the moilad. But we saw now that it doesn't work like this because the sun can go 30 degrees, but it's not actually 30 degrees. Sometimes it will be 30 degrees, sometimes it will be less than 30 degrees, sometimes it will be more than 30 degrees. So what's the problem? So the problem is when the sun moves away from the most height, so it goes very slow. Not whatever slot. So in other words, when the sun goes 30, it's not 30, it's only 29. When it goes 90, it's not 90, it's 88. And let's say the moon is in the right track, so it's not going to be alignment. It's going to be, and over here it'll be the opposite. When the sun moves away from the bottom, so it goes faster.
But you see, in the summertime, it doesn't take the.
It has nothing to do with the summer. The sun. Yeah, yeah.
In the summertime, during Tammuz time, the moileds are all in about 29.5 days. It's not that the summer there's 31 days in every month, and the winter there's 28 days, 29 days. It's not that.
First of all, you're telling me from the calculator what they make today from the calendar.
You say in Zman could be.
No. You can bring it up over here because the calendar has nothing to do with the Riyah. They don't go a factual. Yeah. So,
could have been back in the summer. There's longer months.
No. They can be wrong. There is either Rosh Chodesh can be two ways, either Lamed or the Lamed Aleph. It's not going to be Choftes. It's not going to be Lamed BEIS. No, I didn't go through yet the moon has much more correction, much bigger corrections.
Moon has their own problems.
Much more. So, and the moon has nothing to do with the Tammuz or not Tammuz. Huh? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we'll continue tomorrow with Rabbi Y Losh. We have Rabbi Y Losh. Okay, and so Rabbi Y will be going now.
Okay.